Hey guys, it's Sailor Turn Gamer, and we're here with the highlights from today's dev stream. There's so much to unpack from the stream. They talked about the day one patch, held a Q&A, and even discussed their plans for a future patch and some additive game modes too. Stay tuned for the highlights and you'll be officially up to date on the latest in Anthem. Check the description box for a link to the stream if you want to view it in its entirety. If you're new to the channel, we are an up-and-coming content creator and we focus on creating educational videos for Anthem and a free-to-play action RPG named Dauntless. We also stream at Twitch TV/SailorTurnGamer, link in the description box below as well if you ever want to catch us live. If you enjoy the video, please give it a like and a share, and join the fleet by hitting that sub button. See you guys in the next one, and enjoy the video. Peace.
Do you guys have any favorite fixes or things we've done that people can expect to see here shortly?
So it's 6 gigs roughly, right? The patch size, it's about that. So those of you who have to care about how large things are, it's 6 gigs. So be prepared for that. One of my personal favorites, obviously on some of the older PC hardware, you're going to see increased load times in a variety of places. The place where I notice it the most is teleports and tethers in the open world, kind of coming in and out of those small caves and stuff. You're going to see increased, sorry.
And not increased load times.
Yeah.
What the hell are you saying?
I wasn't going to correct you again there, Mike, but yeah.
Feedback that load times are too short.
Guys, I'm
So what we're doing is we're making them longer.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, shorter load screens on a number of places. Those places in particular in the open world, getting tethered to your party, you should see a pretty big improvement. That's mine, and then I'm going to go back to playing and then saving Chad here.
So what about Chad Robertson? What about you? Is there anything that you're especially excited about in the patch?
I mean, I think the thing I'm most excited about is just the breadth of it, because there's a lot of changes in there that I think the players are going to really enjoy. As we've talked about before, even starting with the demo weekend, a lot of what ends up being in this patch and then our subsequent patches is coming from community feedback. I don't know. I think there was a lot of feedback about the Tomb of Legionnaires quest, and that's already been addressed in some ways, and we've got some more things we're doing to address that in the future. But hopefully anybody who was struggling with that, that didn't have the right flag for that quest chain, can now continue it and enjoy the rest of that critical path of the story.
That's a great one. For those who maybe haven't played yet or whatever, the change we made was the Tomb of Legionnaires is a series of challenges that you unlock as part of the crit path. And they used to unlock after finding old friends, which was about level 8 for lots of players. But the feedback was, hey, these challenges take a little bit longer and are a bit more involved than players would have loved. And so what we did was change that prerequisite to be level 3. So by the time you get to the quest step, you've had 5 levels of doing these challenges anyway, and a lot of the challenges are things like, get weak point kills, use combos, get ultimate kills, that kind of stuff. So the hope is that kind of means when you get to that step, you still explore free play. We want you to discover how that works, do the world events and things like that, but it should take much less time. And of course, there's a bug fix in Aardvark, which, in our worldwide launch, Aardvark's what we call it, I guess that's out there now. But in our worldwide launch patch, the one today, where when you get chests, the group shares credit for them, whereas before you had to get it yourself to get a bit
so
longer,
just to be clear about that one, the range is 250 meters in game. So if someone in your party opens a chest and you're within 250 meters of that opening, then you will get credit for that chest. So you can't be on the other side of the map and get credit for it, but if you're within 250 meters, you get it. Yeah.
How about for you, Mark? Is there anything you wanted to call out?
As Chad said, it's a patch with a lot of things in it. I thought about talking about numbers, but I realized that most people don't actually have context into the number of bugs that are actually fixed in most developers. So I'll steer away from any. I look so grumpy Grumby. I look so grumpy. What the hell does Grumby mean, chat?
Mark always looks grumpy, though.
What does Grumby mean?
It's a little bit of Gumby plus grumpy.
Gumby with a beard? Is that
The
Grumby?
chat is going. I am not a Twitch streamer, as you can tell by the chat going by here. I'm going to answer a question off the chat, though. People asked how people are playing the PS4 already. Yeah, those people have stolen copies of the PS4 build. That's how they're playing.
Or I mean, let's take the most respectful interpretation. Maybe a retailer or two broke the street date, which usually happens.
Which is just as bad.
yes.
Also go to jail.
I like this 4-person stream. The dynamics here are much more exciting than just me and Ben alone. We'll have to do this on a recurring basis.
I like that's Chad's subtle way of saying never leave me with Ben alone ever again. That's fine.
Oh, hey,
awkward.
who's actually playing the Ranger right now? Is it you, Chad? Because you're doing great.
Oh, here's a chest. And look, credit for everyone.
Thank you, Mike.
But it's fine.
Go.
I'm about to hand it back to Jesse though. If you don't mind.
Oh, it was Jesse. Oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah.
No, Chad was playing. He's giving it to Jesse.
What difficulty are we on?
Easy. Grandmaster 6.
Grandmaster 7.
Yeah.
All right, so we had
Smash
some
that like button, like and subscribe.
like subscribe. That's right.
That's right.
I hope we probably don't have subscribe, but so there are a bunch of other fixes that went in. We've released the patch notes now, I think, so everyone in the community has access to them. You know, for me, some of my favorites, you know, I kind of came from the combat lens, so I like the things we did to the Colossus with the shield. It'll come up a bit faster than it was before. You can also revive down javelins with your shield up, which I think gives a lot more utility to the Colossus, which is cool. And but the biggest one for me is a bunch of the inscriptions had bugs with them. So especially if you were above level 25, you weren't getting all of the power you were meant to from those inscriptions, especially kind of the ones that impact like combat damage, for example.
So shields on scouts. Do you know how we changed those for the patch? Because I saw a patch note the other day, and I'm telling you, the scout shields is one of the biggest pains in the butt for me playing. So do you know that one, or should we follow?
So I don't know the specific balance change. I think we might have increased the shield, but then we're going to decrease it back to where it was.
Okay.
I think if that's what you're talking about, but I can talk about shields in general and the best way to deal with them, because I think that's important. So one thing that isn't known by everyone is that lightning effects do 50% bonus damage to shielded targets, and frost attacks do 25% bonus damage to shielded targets. Now, I love talking all nerdy, as you know, but I think what happens sometimes is people use other abilities and it's frustrating, or you use your weapons. Like the best thing to do is try to chain those things together on shielded targets, like the scouts and the flyers, especially in harder difficulties. And then after you get the shield down, you can CC them, you can apply status effects, you can get combos. So I think that's kind of the best thing to be doing.
There were a bunch of people asking me on Twitter about, I mean, this is a small thing, but it was important to a lot of folks, Xbox profile settings. So there was a bug with the first early launch that you'd have to basically redo your settings every time you kind of came in, because it wouldn't save it out. So that one got fixed. A lot of people didn't know that had gotten fixed in this patch, so that's all sorted out as well. So you won't have to set, for those people who invert, you won't have to reset that every single time. You'll be able to keep it.
Will Anthem support DLSS ever?
The answer to that question is yes, soon. We actually have it. That work has already been completed, but you'll see it in an upcoming patch.
Not today's patch.
Not today's patch. Sorry. Thank you.
Will Anthem support SLI?
You cannot play and ask a question at the same time. That was ridiculous. You're flying in a straight line into a cliff.
So now they're going to think that was me flying,
read off a
crashing into
Word
stuff.
doc. What's happening?
Thanks for all the help. You know, it's just
Do you want to
versus
give me the
Alpha.
controller?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the question was, what's going on with SLI?
Yeah. The answer is yes. Anthem will support SLI. It's going to that update will be combined with the DLSS update, so you should see that soon.
Hey, there's a question of whether we're going to have armor sets. We are looking into set bonuses at a future time. Not today.
Do they mean more armor packs though? I think that was
maybe.
a question.
I don't know. It's really hard to read this stream. I know AJ's going to turn around the monitor, so I can't look at it anymore.
No,
Yeah,
but,
that's a good
honestly,
idea. If we could go ahead and do that, that would be great.
No. Hey, so yes, Ben, to the other question, where when are we going to see some more armor? Maybe you want to go in there.
So we have an update a little later in the stream about how we're introducing some new vanity into the game. So I want to talk about that. We did do a store refresh just today, which puts new items on the storefront. I think people were confused, and it's on us because we had a 10-day timer on the storefront. But our plan is to refresh that every 2 to 4 days, so that those of you earning lots of coin, or if you wanted to spend some shards, there's more stuff there for you to buy, and also a diverse range of suits. There's only really 2 suits at a time. So that went up today. And then we have some more vanity stuff coming through a gameplay mechanic, and we'll talk about that a little later in the stream.
Stat page, ? Or stat page, ? Depending on who was asking the question. At least we can answer it so they can stop
or are you
asking.
asking real questions? I feel like you're just asking your own questions at this point.
Mike, that was my question.
That's a question I think that we anticipated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to answer it, Chad? I think you know the answer.
Yeah, we're planning on we're evaluating some options for that. We had ideas for that all along, and I think the input from the community has emphasized that that is a good thing we should do.
Are there any plans for providing options when you're down?
So we've talked a bunch about, we've seen some feedback that when people go down, they're like, hey, no one noticed I was down. So we don't have anything in the short term for that, but we are looking into the issue and we have some ideas about it. Even things like, hey, when you're down, like, can it just have a audio line that's like, hey, I'm down, friends, get me up, or whatever. But we don't have that in the next couple of weeks, but we're looking into it.
Yeah.
But there's some longer term stuff as well that we're looking at, because we've gotten the feedback that when you're down, if no one reses me, it can be kind of boring. What can I do in the meantime? So there's a longer term discussion as well about some other stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Next question. Let's go north, Mike. Hey, what do you think?
Are there any more plans for support or ultimate items outside of what's already in the game?
So ultimate items are going to be like a longer term thing. They're the most kind of impactful abilities that we made. So you can imagine they take a little longer to build. We like the idea of doing it, but that's kind of a longer term thing. I think on the support side, so like your left and right bumper, like for me, that guy, we'd like to do some in the short term, not in the next couple of weeks, but probably soonish after that, we'd like to add some more. We're talking about it right now, so timing, whatever, to be TBD, what they are, and all that kind of stuff. But that's the idea.
So, someone asked about a ping system like Apex has. I really like their system. I think it's actually quite clever, having contextual chat. We obviously don't have it right now, and I don't know how portable what Respawn has made would be. We have to take a look.
We did ask, but yeah.
You did ask?
Yeah.
Not very, yeah. But I would love to take a look at it. I mean, one problem will be on the console controls. I don't think we have a button, so that might be a bit of a challenge. But I actually do think it's quite.
We have. It's a great point because we have been looking into an alternate to that, like. If you want to communicate with your team, which is really what that's all about, like how do you communicate with them? And so we've talked about some other ways that we think we could leverage the existing control scheme. I don't know if I want to share all the details now.
You don't have to share those details right now, Ben.
Yeah, but
maybe now.
No, maybe now. But I think in a few more weeks here we can talk a bit about that. We have to see if we can do it. There's a few catches to it all, as always.
That was a tough fight.
It's good feedback.
I have a question.
Oh!
Who came up with the?
Did you see this?
Yeah, I did see that. Nice, well done.
Got a masterwork, no big deal. Yep. Carry on.
Big deal.
Who came up with the Nighthawk and Dragon bit initially?
Probably
do you-
Ben. Right, Ben.
Does that mean are you
I
an
think
original
what
fan of that
happened-
movie, or like how did that?
No, I think what happened is like Mike and I were casually flirting with each other on Twitter, as we like to do, and
Twitter.
And I think you were making fun of me about something. I can't remember. And then I just went to GIFs and put in brothers, and then the Step Brothers thing came up from the movie, and I was like, oh, that's so funny.
Oh, good.
And so I posted that, and then I think we both just kept posting those things, and then we decided on the first stream we did it'd be funny if we called ourselves Dragon and Nighthawk, which is what they call themselves
Right.
in the movie Step Brothers. So
Yep.
One of Ben's top 10 movies of all time.
Yes.
A cinematic classic.
cinematic classic.
It's in the Criterion Collection.
Oh, we're gonna
What else we got, Jesse? Any?
let's keep
any
going
other?
north, eh?
Yeah, so we got a couple more, and then we can go into our next segment. But so how much additional lore can players expect with upcoming content?
You want me to grab that one?
Sure.
Yeah, so I think that's a deeper question into what we're planning on doing with the live service. And while we don't have a ton of details we can share on that yet, we do have lots of internal plans.
Ooh, world event, Mike.
Yeah, I think the main answer is that if you look at what we want to do narratively with the game for the next several years, you'll see this overarching story that includes tons of lore that we want to include to continue to evolve Anthem's world and the characters and everything that goes with it. So you can expect some big updates there, and I think you'll be pleasantly, anybody who's asking that question will be pleasantly surprised to know that we've got a lot of cool things we think are coming there.
I think something that a lot of people don't know about Anthem is the way that the systems are built, the way that the framework is set up, is it makes it fairly easy for us to add new different types of content. So I get this question a lot on Twitter. Okay, so we wanna do different gameplay mechanics. So yeah, we've done Wisps enough times. We want to do something different. The way that the Anthem system is built is that all we have to do is put that new kind of gameplay thing into the toolbox, and then you'll start to see those things represented in world events as you kind of even go through all the launch content. So we have a really strong framework for how to add more lore, more gameplay. It's just a matter of us doing it over the months and years ahead, right?
You've answered that one before, I've seen.
You know, I mean, we don't have text chat. We are looking at some accessibility stuff. So we should kind of get clear in that message. So I don't want to kind of butcher it now by mistake. So we can kind of talk about that a little bit later. But like I said before with the ping system question, like I think really a lot of the question is, if I don't want to use VoIP, how can I better communicate with my squad mates? And that's kind of the thing that we're looking at.
Right.
And that's the thing that I talked about before that I don't have all the details on yet. But in a few weeks here, you know, we can talk about it or just give an update. You know, I'm not sure when or if or whatever we can do it, but we're definitely talking about it because we think it's an important piece of feedback we've heard from the community.
Yeah, so I think to reiterate, this question and the ping question is really more about giving me a way to communicate what's going on, explain to someone how the puzzle works, things like that, without using voice.
Yeah.
Right.
Whether that's text chat or something else, there's more details will come at a later date.
That mainly are based on player feedback, but also some ideas we had in the works. And so this isn't for the patch today, but we're hoping to get these in, or our goal is to get this in for the patch after, which will be a few weeks after today's patch. But the first is talking about stronghold vanity chests. So what does that mean? So kind of to set up the context, there's been some feedback of, hey, like I want to personalize my javelins a bit more, but I'd like to have, you know, some part of my look that's available through kind of playing the game or doing something in the game that maybe not everyone can do. And so we're like, oh, that's really good feedback. We were also at the same time aware of some issues with you know, making strongholds be really rewarding. Like they're quite a long time investment, and yes, you get great loot from them, but people wanted to be able to show off some of the things that they were getting. And so the idea that we're going to put into the game is called Stronghold Vanity Chests. So the idea is that We'll have like 100 items that are vanity driven or personalization, as we often talk about them. And as you finish a stronghold, at the end there'll be 4 chests available. And the idea is that you earn keys, and so you can earn a key by doing like a daily challenge, for example. So you can every day earn 1 key, go into a stronghold, get the key by doing a daily challenge. At least that's how we'll make them available when we launch the feature. And then you do the stronghold. At the end, you open a chest and you get some vanity. But the kicker is, if your squad mates have a key, they can also open the chests and you get each other's loot. So I open a chest, my whole party gets that loot. Chad opens a chest, then we all get that loot again. Then Mark opens his chest, we all get the loot, and Mike opens his chest. So we're kind of incentivizing some social organizing here because,
win for everyone.
Ideally you be like, hey, I want to find some friends who all have keys. Let's do it together. The chests will be random exhaustive. So if you don't know what that word means or that phrase means, the idea is that there are 100 items and you will get them all after 100 times. I say 100. It's not a literal 100. I think it's very close to 100, maybe a bit more or a bit less. But as you do it that many times, that's how long it will take to kind of get everything in the list. And then we'll review that list. We might add more things over time or do a whole new set of vanity into the chest over time. But that's kind of that system. So I think that's pretty cool. Yeah. It rewards you for playing the game, which we think is cool. Does that seem clear? Do you guys have questions, or does chat have questions?
So, question for these chests: will I get a duplicate?
So, will I get a duplicate? I think we might have just silenced Edmonton for a second. Will we get a duplicate item? The answer is no. You will not. So, there are 100 items. You get them all. Some of those items, so the majority of them are all vanity, and we'll actually show some examples. I forgot we had some. We'll show them. But you can also get other things like crafting materials or Ember. So it's possible we put 5 Ember in there, you know what I mean? So you can get the Ember 5 times. But of the vanity-specific things, no, you get just 1 copy of all of them, and then it's unlocked forever. So, good point, because I forgot. We have examples. Let's show some examples. These are some of the cool things that you can see in the vanity chest. So you can see, we have a mixture of vinyls, all different kind of quality rarities of vinyls. You see some of them here. We have some. So I can hear them. Can the stream not hear? Okay, that's fine. So you're all missing out on Mark's humor. Let me just tell you it's funny.
They mute us, man.
And so next, we also have some emotes. I don't know if they're queued up next, or if we can go to them. So these are some of the emotes that are available in these Stronghold vanity chests. Once we get it up. Yes. You can look. Oh, they can't hear you right now. Yeah, so I'm not repeating that question. Excellent. But here are some of the... So again, remember in the game, there are 3 types of animations. You have the victory pose, the landing animation, and emotes. And so there's a mixture of all of them. These are some of the ones you can earn, again, just by earning a key and then playing through the Stronghold here in a few weeks when we launch this update. Pretty cool stuff. There's some epic quality stuff in there, which is pretty cool.
Okay, what about, so the primary way that you get keys is from grinding strongholds. Are there any other ways to get keys at this point?
The primary way to get keys is to do the daily challenge. We will set an objective on a given day that rewards the key. So the idea is you log into the game, that should be the first thing you do, right? You go and get your key for the day, and then you use that to complete a stronghold and get great loot and also get cool vanity.
Right.
Yep.
So challenges, gotcha.
Yep, it'll be like the daily challenge. That's at least what we'll start with, and of course we'll see what works and doesn't work, and if we have to make adjustments, we can make some adjustments. One piece of feedback we've heard in this first week has been, hey, you have all this amazing content through the crypt path and the agent missions, but I can't replay it. Is there a way to replay it? And so there are a bunch of, look at you doing a flag ultimate. There are a bunch of different ways you can solve that problem. The thing that we wanted to do was to reintroduce the crit path missions as endgame activities. So we're calling them legendary missions. And so what our plan is to do a couple in a few weeks from now, see if the community likes them, see if you guys enjoy playing them. And if that seems to be something that is worth doing, then we'll go and convert all the crit path over to these legendary missions. So what that means is, like, what is a legendary mission? What makes it legendary? You know, one of the first missions in the game is called Lost Arcanist. It's probably the one that we'll do first. But it's early in the game. So early in the game, we use, you know, this is some internal terminology, but we use mainly easy encounter types. So you don't fight the full range of, say, the Scar that you encounter in Lost Arcanist. You don't have many Scar heavies. It's a lot of footmen. It's designed to be easy as you're learning the game. The legendary mission version will put in what we call extreme encounters, which is like harder combinations, more creatures, and then we'll balance them for max level. Okay. So the idea is you can play the crit path, but balanced at max level, level 30. Difficulty-wise, we'll see how it plays out. We're thinking that kind of the progression is, you know, from easiest to hardest content is free play, contracts, legendary contracts, then legendary missions, then strongholds. And so that's based on like time investment, but on also how hard we think it is. And then of course they'll have the 6 difficulty levels, easy, medium, hard, Grandmaster 1, 2, and 3. And we're working out the specifics of the rewards we'll give you, but you know, we hope this is just a fun thing to do.